I'm on. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Unity Center, Austin. I decided to do things a little differently this morning, so I'm going to be working with an author, a great author, somebody that you all probably have heard of, and somebody who has major impact on the new thought ideas that we are all one in each other. And what we're here to do is to become more effective as human beings, okay? So the name of the thing I want to talk about is all the places we can go. And if you're familiar with that, that's Dr. Seuss. Okay? Now, what you don't realize, some of you know that I used to do, I was on the circuit as a speaker, and I used to do this one, and Green Names in Hand is also great. But the idea behind this is all the places you can go. And it's a positive conversation. Remember, we're the Church of Positive Prayer, which means we don't pray for anything other than what's good. In other words, anytime I speak a negative, I'm actually praying for what I've spoken. So the idea is, let's talk about all the places we can go and what's possible. Hi, come on in. Good. We have a new friend back here. Good. So, are you with me? We're going to start on this conversation. Now, it says, congratulations, today is your day. So everybody say, congratulations to yourself. Okay, today is your day, and as far as we know, every day we wake up, we start over again. Now we have a tendency to believe that we are our past, but the truth is we are our future. So what I speak today and what I think today, I'm creating tomorrow. So it says, congratulations, today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. Right now. You see, and of course, this week we did, the newsletter we did was about our new church. Did you like the new format of the newsletter? Yes. And we had a nice picture there. Madeline and Elisa spent a couple hours getting that done, but it was really neat. It made a change. So we go on now. I'm not going to read the whole thing to you, but here's the next page. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. Yes? Yes. And then it goes on and says, you can steer yourself. So we all have choices. And we can go right or left or stay, whatever we want to do, we have those choices. Then it goes on and says, you can steer yourself and direct in directions you choose. And one of the big issues in the psychological area is that we choose what our life looks like. Now it's difficult, but that's what's true. Scientifically, we've proven it over and over again. And then it says you're on your own. Which means who's responsible? See, I'm responsible for me. Okay, now you can affect me, but the only way you can affect me is if I allow it to occur. And then it goes on and says, you're on your own and you know what you know, and you are the person who decide where to go. So we all have that choice every day, every minute, every second, where we're going, what we're thinking about. Now we go on, and I'm going to jump ahead. We do get in life, if anybody's familiar with getting in life. I have these things marked, so I'd love to take you through the whole book, but we can't do that. But then we go over here, right, this page is coming up. There, come on, page. Okay, now, there is trouble in life, and it's called a labyrinth. Anybody familiar with a labyrinth? So here's a labyrinth. Now, what's funny is some of you might not know that we're going to have a labyrinth at our new location. And walking the labyrinth, you get confused almost. You just stay there, and you wonder where it's going to turn next. So you actually lose almost an idea of where you are at the time, and you have to surrender to God. So guess what life is like? Anybody still trying to figure out which way to go? And we all have a great inner guide that takes us through the labyrinth. And you can see starting out down here. Okay? And so we have a labyrinth of life, and as we go through the labyrinth, how do we turn left? How do we turn right? Do we go forward? How quickly do we walk? All those ideas are given us when we're one with Spirit, which takes time to learn how to do. Then we go into other parts of life. Okay? That's my next tab here. And we have issues in life. We get lost in the curve. Okay. And we don't know which way to go. And there's curly cues, and there's ups and downs, and all kinds of things that happen. which is where life is. Now, we're born here, as far as we know, to deal with and to grow through this life spiritually. Okay? And that was Jesus' great message. And he said, by the way, I believe the scripture says, these things I do, ye shall do, and even greater things, which means figure out how to get through the maze and through the mess of it. Okay? Now, I don't know about you, but some of us have messes now and then. Okay? And then we go on. See, here's the other parts. Through arches, all kinds of things. You see the path there? The path is halfway onto that mountain over there. And then we go on through life, and life occurs. And once in a while, we have a triumph. Okay? And this is somehow you'll escape. You'll get on the other side. All that waiting and staying, you'll find the bright places where boom boom bands are playing. Yeah, it's fun. Okay? And then, see, this is really, I love this whole thing. Once in a while there's a triumph and everybody aligns and headed toward the same place. And there we all are. See us? We're metaphors for those elephants. With the flags held high, going into the future. Okay? And then there's some people that make decisions. And I'm looking for a page here. It's going to come up any moment. There it is. Come on, page. Now, sometimes we get lost in the cul-de-sacs. If anybody's familiar with cul-de-sacs. And what happens is we wind up waiting. Okay? I'm looking for my waiting page. Huh? I'm lost all of a sudden. The metaphor is working. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Now, I want to show you this. See, when you don't know what to do, and a lot of us don't know what to do, we sit down and wait. So I'm going to read this to you because I think it's a rather salient, good idea. So, and this is thus getting caught in the cul-de-sacs of life. And it says, for people just waiting for a train to go, or a bus to come, or a plane to go, or the mail to come, or the rain to go, or the phone to ring, or the snow to snow, or waiting around for a yes or no, or waiting for their hair to grow. Everyone is just waiting. True. We're all kind of sitting there, what's next? What do I do? Okay. Then it goes on and says, waiting for the fish to bite. We have some fisher people in here. Okay? Or waiting for the wind to fly a kite. No, you can't fly a kite when the wind isn't going, but you can do something else. Then it goes on, we're waiting around for Friday night. I don't know about your Friday night. Okay. Or waiting perhaps for their Uncle Jake, or a pot to blow, or a better break. Anybody waiting for a better break? See, all these things are things we're waiting for. And the kids' book is talking about it. Then it goes on and says, or a string of pearls, or a pair of pants, or a wig with curls, or another chance. Everyone is just waiting. So take that in. Very interesting conversation. Now, again, I'm back on track. There's the elephants in a row, okay? Now, that's once we start, the inertia. Anybody familiar with the laws of dynamics? The body at rest tends to stay at rest. The body in motion tends to stay in motion. Now, that's a physical. That's not a spiritual. That's in the physical world. But sometimes we need to get going, and we have to trust spirit to do that. It's called faith. Anybody familiar with faith? And when things don't look good, it's hard to have faith. But who are we connected with? Spirit. The great energy that made the universe is part of who we are. And that's scriptural, by the way. The kingdom of heaven is within. And so what it means is we are connected to all that is. So what are we waiting around for? Okay? Why are we waiting? Someday this is going to work out. Someday, what is it, the good Lord? No, creek don't rise. Anyway, you know that phrase. Okay, so we're waiting. It's time to move forward. Okay? Now, I'm going to go to the end because we're going to read the Bible when I'm finished with this because we got to go there. But it says at the end, so be your name Buxom or Bixby or Bray or Mordecai, Ale, Van Allen, O'Shea, you're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting So get on your way. Amen. Now, if anybody would like to look at my textbook of the ethereal, spiritual, latest volume, you're welcome to look at it up here. I would like to share with you a couple things. Course in Love this week. Again, as you know, I'm in different classes all week, and certain classes speak to me for Sunday. So this Sunday we were, this Wednesday in our class we were looking at Course of Love, and he wants me to put my glasses. Oh, I put them over here. I almost was reaching for them. Okay. You ready?
We're waiting.
Thank you. In this idea of waiting, I don't know about you, but there's been points in my life, still points in my life, when I'm waiting for something to happen. I'm waiting for a signal, I'm waiting for a sign, I'm waiting for money to come in, I'm waiting for the right book to read, I'm waiting for whatever it is. I'm waiting for a message from God. Everybody familiar with that one? And we can wait and wait and wait. And this chapter 3, says to answer the call. And I thought I'd want to share that with you because it goes in conjunction with what we just looked at. It said, everything you have ever wanted to be is. See, you wouldn't have thought of it if you didn't have the capability of owning it right now. It's kind of like, why in the world would God allow us? Even Scripture talks about if your child asks for fish, you certainly wouldn't give him a stone or a serpent. It says that in Matthew 7. So why are we waiting? What are we waiting for? We're waiting for Spirit to guide us, but Spirit is already within us. So this is a very interesting conversation. Everything you have ever wanted to be is. Everything you have ever thought or imagined is, and is reflected to the world you see. So when we look out at the world, the law of attraction in quantum physics says when I think about something, I create that thing I've been thinking about. And it's a difficult thing to take in and understand that all this stuff in my life, good or bad, I've created at some level. So that's the message we share with folks. But then it goes on and says, this is interesting. The only difference between the life you are living and the life you want lies in your willingness to express who you are. Doesn't that dovetail with what we just said? I'm going to read it again, because this for me was rather sad, very important. Let's see. The only difference between the life you are living and the life you want lies in your willingness to express who you are. It's like somebody leaves before their greatest song is sold. And there's no reason for that. The idea is every one of us has that spark of life within you. Everybody has that gift that you're here to share. And in sharing that gift, we're here and we need to express that gift. And I know in my own life, I used to think someday I wish I could. Do you remember that phrase? Someday I wish, what if? Well, there is no what if because it's already there because you thought it. The key to it is you wouldn't think it unless it was yours. And that's kind of like a universal law. So it's understanding that God is ever present. I am an expression of God. Jesus said, these things I do, you shall do. And when people ask me, do I believe in Jesus, I say yes, and I believe what he said. So I have to believe at some level I have the capability of doing the things I've thought about. And all of you do too, every single one of us. And the analogy I use it often here, it's like a big symphony orchestra. Wouldn't it be crazy for everybody to be playing the drums in a symphony? Or everybody playing the violin? Or everybody playing the trumpets? No, everybody's got their own instrument that they are specially skilled in. And when they play together, it's a beautiful symphony. Now, if they don't play together, what happens? It's cacophony. It's terrible. It's chaos. So each one of us has a special skill. And in that skill, it's up to us to express that skill. Truth is, some of you have great things within you. Some of you know that I used to work with and train speakers. Some of you are great speakers and you don't know it. It's in your heart. Because all you have to do is get into your heart and let it out. Let yourself express yourself, whatever it is. Now, a lot of people saying, well, what is my ministry? Your ministry is every day you interact. You see, my ministry might be to sell. Or my ministry might be to talk to groups of people. Or your ministry might be to be the greatest mechanic in the world, or the greatest hairdresser, whatever it is. Are you doing good for the universal energy? Yes. Because when you provide a service for people, whatever it is, those of you that are in computers, God bless you, I love you, because I don't have the faintest idea what you do. And I need you. So you see, you are there providing your special skill to the symphony we call population, essence. And the truth is, God is behind all that. And if we will learn to express who we are, and whatever that is, and all you can do is express it, and if it doesn't work, try it again. Anybody familiar with how you learn something? You try it, if it doesn't work, you try it again. Okay, it's like, how do you become skilled at anything? You do it over and over and over and over again until you're proficient at it, as long as your heart wants it. I was noticing Nina talk about the heart. And we are finding now that, and you're hearing me talk a lot more about the heart, that the mind is the domain of the ego, or the false self, if you will. It tricks us. It'll tell me all kinds of wild stories, and sometimes I believe them. Of course, your stories are all true, I know. But, you know, and the truth is, we live out of the stories in our head instead of the passion in our heart. And so it's learning how to get into the heart, get into spirit, and be one with spirit. And it takes time to do that. Because we're not trained to be one with spirit. And so what I'm encouraging us to do is to express ourselves. This morning was really interesting. You guys were laughing and having fun. And that's great. See, that's that expression. And there's another thing that happened is when Janie, we discussed JP's situation, your heart went there with her. I could feel it, and then it shifted back into. And so that is being part of the world and expressing who your heart is, no matter who you are. That's why it doesn't matter your education, your gender, your background, your culture. None of that matters, because we are each a child of God, expressing that part of God that we are, and we have to take a risk sometimes to do it, yes. In other words, it takes a risk to come out. I watched somebody yesterday dance and to give us rhymes, and I said, where did that come from? You had to be there to see it. and see, that's who we are. Each one of us has a deep desire to share who I am. And one of the biggest needs we have is to really get who we are. Somebody needs to get who I am and really, really connect with that. And each one of us has that connection that we can make. And and I'm going to read just a little bit more here. It says, there would be no need for form or material for the body if there had been no desire for expression. In other words, we've been put into a body to give ourselves expression in this physical world. And we go back to say, you know, it's the same old thing. In other words, God, as far as we know, in the physical world, God's hands and feet, and motivations and things are in you. So you are the God creating this whole world around us.
That said, the desire came before the body.
Yes. In other words, we came in here, and we have this, and desire is from two words, desire, which is of the Father. So a desire is a spiritual thing. Okay? Isn't that amazing? Okay? Then it goes on and says, life is a desire to express outwardly what exists within. I keep hammering. You hear it? Because here, all these talents here, there's more talent in this room than and I'm not going to say any room in the world, but there's so much talent here. And you guys, you're all loved. You really are. When you pull together, and just ask Janie, right? Okay? Then it goes on and says, what I refer to so often here as being within, as if within is a place in which something resides, is unity. So it's unity, oneness with God, that who we are. And when we make that connection, things start working. You know, the big question is, how come some people are wealthy and rich and others aren't? How come some people have great health and other people don't? What is that distinction? What is that thing that put money in their pocket and money not in their pocket? And the idea is the kingdom of heaven is within. It's what I think and what I believe I create in my life. And that's the expression that we're here to express. So the ultimate expression, I believe, energy is called love. And the kingdom of heaven is within. Heart is the seat of love, so it's learning to go into the heart work with the heart, and really, instead of spending time in the head, spend time in the heart. And I frankly am learning that. I've had to readjust my focus in life. And where we're going together, see, this group is a unique group. You know, I don't know why I see us now as a herd of elephants all headed. But it's a joy, it's happiness. And the whole thing is to have fun and enjoy doing it. I can't leave without going into 12 powers. And this is Cora Fillmore. And I just happened to find this last night. Life is progress, attainment, and mastery. See, mastery means becoming skilled at the skills of life. Okay? And every new spiritual realization makes finer and stronger and more beautiful the texture of the soul. So as we learn to get in contact with God, and you know, it says in the Bible, be still and know that I'm God. It says be still. It doesn't say talk a lot. It doesn't say listen to the radio or TV. It says be still and know that I am God. So once I learn how to do that and do it over a period of time, which Pat has brought in with centering prayer, once that starts occurring, and it takes time for that to occur, then I start being able to express my heart. Then it goes on and says, it engenders the power to draw from the invisible the fulfillment of its highest ideals. The ancients divided the world into 4 different elements, and then they added a 5th element. There used to be earth, air, fire, and water were the major portions of the world. Then they added the ethers, the unknown, the unseen. And it's learning to bring the invisible and unseen out of the spiritual world into the material world, which is what we're doing. That's why we have the talk about the new building. We talk about that process. Stop and think about it as a logical thing. We were led here we are. We've been here, 7 months now? And we've got a piece of property down the street, which is really wonderful. We have a building design. Would you agree the rest of it's there? You see, it's already there. And it's our belief that brings that in. So I believe. I believe.
Our desire.
Our desire is, yes, of the Father. Those of you new, everybody talks extemporaneously. Go ahead, Pat.
May I give a quest class report?
Yeah, sure.
The authors talked about how when things go swimmingly, it's easy to believe in God's plan and divine order. And inevitably, difficulty comes up, and we reactively respond with our habitual worry, fear, and then we get out of that and look back, oh, that worked out great. So now we're back in believing in the divine plan. The next difficulty comes up and we're back in worry.
It's amazing. It really is. And the problem becomes that I have to blame somebody else. Mm-hmm. It's called projection in the psychological terms. Something out there did it to me. And the truth is, God is ever present. God is here. And I can easily blame, I shouldn't do this, blame Madeline for my problems. And by the way,
you should not.
But see, that's where special relationships, we get hooked in that. We do. Because all there is God, there isn't anything else. And when we acknowledge that, some of the storm, if you will, starts subsiding slowly. So, and the only way to do it is find out. So, there's so much more to talk about, but I think we're finished. I want to tell you thank you. I really, this week I'm seeing that church more and more. And we're getting closer to breaking ground. I know Kat wants to get a bulldozer over there and get rid of all those trees. And we're getting closer to that time. We're also getting closer to what I want to use the term carefully is awareness, awakening, and enlightenment. Because we are children of God. That is the promise. And as a child of God, we are heirs to the throne. And if you understand what that means is everything you've ever looked for is already there when we learn to accept it on the spiritual level. And I love you dearly. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Reverend. Thank you.